Earlier in the show, I spoke with Chamath Palihapitiya. He's a billionaire who's been calling out some of the bailout funds and how they've been misused, about how billionaires should be wiped out and the speculators, and how workers should really be put at the center of the response, something we very much agree with. Indeed. Well, another billionaire is jumping in the fray and has really been a very good voice in this discussion. That is Mark Cuban of Shark Tank fame. So he's actually been tweeting about the Paycheck Protection Program. Quote, "Explain to me how banks can make $17.5 billion in fees for the Paycheck Protection Program loans that they can't lose money on. Yet for some reason, half the qualifying businesses and most of the indie contractors can't even get a response to their applications." Cuban's tweet, of course, comes at the exact same time that the fund has gone dry because Congress can't get its act together. It's just infuriating. The fact these people are printing money off of our hard-earned tax dollars for doing what? Loaning money to businesses, something that they already have the infrastructure to do. It's outrageous. And this is what we need. You always need traitors to the class in order to call that out, because they're the ones who have the most credibility. Mark Cuban's...
They're the ones who get put on TV, right, who get the pass into the elite circle to be able to tell the truth.
Exactly.
And I always appreciate when that happens. The more that I learn about the way that this program has been administered and handled, the more outraged I am. And I guarantee you there are people who are watching right now who are trying to get loans to keep their small business, their family business, the thing that they have worked and scraped and put so much of their life into, to get that lifeline to be able to keep it going. They are trying to get that money and getting nothing. I can tell you my own mom, who is trying to get one of these loans to be able to keep the school that she runs able to continue. She was on top of it. She filed as soon as she could. Money's already gone, nothing for her. And why? Why is it handled this way? Because they left the administration of it up to the banks. So who did they privilege? Most likely privilege their largest clients. They privilege, what else did they ask and get permission from the Treasury Department to be able to do? On the $1,200 piece, able to take people's money if they owe other debts. That $1,200 may not even go to you because the banks are going to suck some of it up. They're going to privilege clients who already have existing loans so that they're getting money in from the government to be able to pay the banks. All of these reasons why the mom and pop small businesses, I've talked to so many small business owners out there who did all the right things, followed all the right steps, and now got nothing.
Yeah, and
nothing.
That's the outrageous part. And this is the impossible situation. You leave it up to the federal government, it would take longer to get the money out. It actually would, in order to cut the checks. And so with the Paycheck Protection Program, it reveals to us about the corruption that already existed within the financial banking system, and about how much of what we just leave up to them when they get, think about this, they're getting loans from the Federal Reserve. They're getting propped up by this bailout package. They have all these snapback, too big to fail provisions that help them. And now when it's time, and as Mark Cuban points out, why are they taking $17.5 billion in fees whenever there are small businesses who are asking for what? Like 200 grand?
Not even.
100,000?
Yeah.
50 grand just to make rent?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the outrageous part. And again, this is something Chamath Palihapitiya and I talked about. The restrictions on CEO compensation are only until like September. Same with employment. They're just going to fire everybody and increase their compensation whenever that time comes. Maybe finance for some of these loans. That is the part that really gets to people. So it's always great. We want to highlight as many of these voices as possible. People from within the financial system, billionaires themselves, who are saying this is messed up.
Well, and it was so predictable. I mean, we saw as soon as we saw the numbers and the breakdown and how much of it was going to big business and how comparatively small an amount was going to small business, we said there is no way this is going to be enough. And sure enough, weeks later, out of money, and they're not even here. They're not getting their act together to refill the coffers. We spoke to a reporter earlier who said in other countries, they had an unlimited fund for whatever any small business that needed the support could get it. But for some reason, our Congress puts a cap, a hard cap on the amount of that money, not a hard cap on the amount of money going to the big players.
Give them a slush fund. Give small businesses a slush fund. That's the other thing. Look, I mean, this is a time of crisis. It's no time to put a cap on this. That program needed $900 billion the day it was passed. And now they're just asking for a measly $250 billion. That's going to run out in a couple of days, just in outstanding loans. This needs to be trillions of dollars. And yet Congress isn't getting their act together. Great to see
Banks
Mark
are messing
Cuban.
around.
Banks are messing around, taking fees. Great to see, and we will continue to highlight voices that call out this corruption.
Indeed. Next week on Rising, writer Julio Vincent Gambuda is going to explain how American companies and their advertisers will try to gaslight us all after the crisis ends and right now as well, and why you should not turn away from the problems that the pandemic has revealed.
And friend of the show, Zed Jelani, he's going to join us to discuss all the news that will inevitably break over the weekend. But as always, please make sure you guys are liked, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. Hit that bell up there. We're going to see you guys in our weekend content, and then we'll see you on Monday.
That's right, guys. Appreciate you all. Have a great weekend.